Hey, how you doing? Hey, I just want to give a testimony on. I'm going to bring up a few verses, and then I'm going to talk about how those verses were demonstrated in my life, only to build you up. I build myself up just reminding me of how faithful the Most High is. But you know how in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 it talks. Paul says, "I didn't come to you with the excellency of speech or knowledge or all this awesome wisdom, but I came to you in the demonstration, of what the Messiah said to do, pretty much, the Great Commission." And if you go to the book of Acts chapter 6, it talks about the Apostle Paul dealing with a divination spirit, casting out a demon out of a girl. And that pretty much caused a lot of controversy. That usually does when you actually do things like this. And so what we're dealing with, how it says in the Great Commission in Matthew 28, to go into all the world. And the most particular verse in Matthew 28:20 I want to bring out is that the Messiah said that he would always be with you, even until the end of the world. So right now he's with you, he's with me. And the reason why I want to say that, because in Galatians 2:20 it says that we're dead in the Messiah and he lives through us. Okay? We're also said to, in 2 Corinthians 4:7, is that we're an earthen vessel. We have this treasure in us, and the power is not of ourselves, but it is of Yah, the Most High. So, in 2 Timothy 2:21, it says to be a vessel of honor set apart and meet for the master's use. So if you're dead and the Messiah lives through you and you're meet for the master's use, you're able to be used as an instrument, an instrument. That's what a minister would be, in the back of the book it's talking about. But if I go to Ephesians 6, and we have to realize is that in Ephesians 6, it talks about we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places, and all these things, right? So that's what you battle out there. A lot of times we get like so much into truth and into knowledge, and it's so freeing and beautiful to escape all those lies, right? But we still have to realize is that we just don't come to people with all this knowledge and blow them away. In fact, they don't even know even anything, so you come to them in the demonstration, which meaning that what these verses say is actually true, and you can be used as an instrument of the Most High, set apart, and at that time he needs you, you can minister to somebody that needs that ministry. So you realize is that there's a lot of different strong men. The Bible identifies about like 12 strong men. Underneath strong men are like little demons. But so I put up a map on my wall and of the whole earth and put bobby pins in to where I've affected somebody and got a testimony back to where it changed their life and so on and so forth, right? So I have that pinned on a lot of different countries around the earth. But starting with my own city, I decided to go out and I would always pray and I'd break the power of these principalities and powers and rulers of darkness in heavenly places. And I would say, Father, send me, use me as an instrument to get these people delivered. Because I want to, if I died right now, I don't want to sit there empty handed and say, well, I didn't do the Great Commission. There's a difference between some people that would die. It's just say if they're at the judgment, and we'll talk about that another time. What I want, because we got a limited time of this video, we have to keep it short. But, in Matthew 28, this in other places in the Great Commission, it talks about, these signs shall follow them that believe. So if you're a believer, these signs will follow. So I take this very seriously. So I believe that in my place, there's rulers of darkness and high places, and I break the power of them because he's given us power over the devil, the Bible says. He wouldn't tell us to go out and do the Great Commission and say he's with you even until the end of the world, without you realizing that and actually stepping into that power, because you're an earthen vessel, You're dead in the Messiah, and the power is not of yourself, but it is of the Most High. But you're a vessel to be used to free and deliver people. So I wanted to give an example of what happened to me one time. Is since I'm going to go out and take my city for the Most High, came across like a newspaper, and they were having some type of meeting, but it wasn't like a Christian type one. It was like a New Age type of meeting, and they believe in healing. And so I decided to infiltrate the place and just go there and act like I was just a regular public person. Not, I didn't like have a Christian, like a t-shirt on saying that the Most High is awesome or, anything, right? I just blended in. And I stood in line for the healing stuff, which I didn't need to be healed of anything. But my plan was I was going to confront him, because usually when you get real close to someone like that, the demon will manifest, but what happened with me is the devil told the guy that, hey, there's a man of the Most High second in line, and the ushers came and took me out and told me to leave. And in the hallway, there was a woman sitting on the bench, and I go, hey, you're his wife, right? And I couldn't tell his wife. It was just a guess, but it happened to be his wife, right? And I just started ministering to her, and then, I left and went out, and I stayed on the sidewalk because I was pretty much kicked out of that place. And I was able to convince one person out of the whole place to be discipled, and to really get the truth of how the Most High heals you the right way, the proper way, right? And so on and so forth. Later on, eventually prayed for them and believed, and they actually got healed, and it was verified by X-rays of cancer later on. But anyways, that's just one of them. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go close down the palm reader shop. And so I go to the palm reader shop, and it's daytime, business hours, and there's like a glass door that's open, like business hours. You don't lock it, right? And when I walked up, this woman ran up to the front door. As I was trying to touch the handle to open, she got there with the keys and locked it real quick, and then started casting spells on me, like doing all these weird enchantments behind the glass. And I told her, I go, those fall to the ground in the mighty name. Like there's nothing you can do harms me with that. I'm here to free you and deliver you. I'm here to let you know that you're not that I'm here to, all this stuff, right? So anyways, she locked the door, and I couldn't get in, so I called her on the phone because the phone number was on the door. And I told her that, all these things, right? And so it didn't go nowhere. What I did was is that I laid hands on the building, and I said, I curse the finances of this place. I break its power. You have no authority in my town. And I commanded them to dry up. And they did. 30 days later, I went by there, and it was closed up. Okay? So a lot of times you might not get like, a million people saved in one day, but as long as one person's worth it, right? And so I just thought that would encourage you to realize that we're wrestling not against people, but against principalities and powers and rulers of So I have a lot of other deeper stories that are kind of crazy, but I won't bring those up. I just wanted to give a few of them just to encourage you to go out and do the Great Commission. Realize that you're an earthen vessel, and that the Most High, His power is in you, and it's not of yourself. And in Galatians 2:20, that you're dead in the Messiah. 2 Timothy 2:21, you're a vessel of honor. Matthew 28, we're supposed to, what are we doing? We're supposed to be doing the Great Commission. That's where we're at, people. And these signs shall follow them that believe. They should do all these things. Cast out devils, raise the dead, heal the sick, cleanse the leper, all these things, right? And so, so instead of like coming to someone with excellency speech and all this knowledge, we have to come to them in demonstration. It's so that you need to take authority over the devils in your area. There's different ones in different areas, and walk in authority in the Messiah, realizing that you're obeying the Most High. See, the Most High wouldn't say go do the Great Commission if you weren't able to do it. He has enabled us. the Most High. So I just want to pray for you, Father. I just pray that they realize that they're a vessel of honor. I pray, Father, that they realize that they're an earthen vessel and that the power is not of themselves, but it's of you. I just pray that they feel the Great Commission. I just pray, Father, that they realize that they can take authority over the devil and that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against all these devils and these demons in high places and that we have authority. That in Matthew 10, it talks about how he gave them power over unclean spirits. So I just pray, Father, that they realize that the reason they're here is the Great Commission. That's like one of our last commandments, that really matters, to go out into the highways and the byways so that his house may be filled at that future wedding feast. Hallelujah. Be blessed.